of the reading rush. It is the last day, a lot of stuff to do. I'm a little behind, but I think I'm making good progress. But before we get into my day 7 update of the day, we're gonna go into the video challenge. Today's challenge, of course, is hosted by Ariel and Marilyn, Ariel Bissett, Pat Prog 07, and they are hosting the Book Recommendations Challenge. Essentially, it's just a story time talking about a book that was recommended to you that impacted your life in one way or another, and I'm really excited to get into mine. Okay, so we're going to rewind 8 years ago back to the summer before my freshman year of high school. Of course, there was always the summer reading requirements that you had to do, and from that required list was always the choice reading book, where you would be given a set of books you can choose from and you can pick which one you want to read. So my high school's choice reading list consisted of Beautiful Creatures, Graceling, and The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. And this is the book I'm going to be talking about today. Just some context, before I read The Hunger Games, I was a big reader, but I didn't venture outside of the genre that I like to read the most, which was contemporary fiction / romance. I started getting into reading a lot of contemporary fiction when I was about 12 years old in the 6th grade, and everybody in my grade was reading Pretty Little Liars. We were all obsessed. It was a big thing. I read them for a lot of years. I stopped somewhere in my high school journey, but it was a big part of my life. It did impact me a lot, leading into the reader I would become today, but not as much as The Hunger Games did. So when I chose to read this book for my summer reading, it really broadened my horizons of the different genres and writing styles and stories that I was missing out on that I didn't even know. It really impacted me as a reader, but also a person, because before this, I had never really read a book where a main character that I really loved died. And I was really emotionally distraught from that, but it made me really think, because although it was really upsetting, I liked that it happened, and I liked that it was realistic, that not everybody was gonna come out with a happily ever after, because that's what I was used to reading. It was the first time a book made me cry. After I read The Hunger Games, I immediately bought Catching Fire, and it spiraled into this love of dystopian fiction. And of course, that led me into sci-fi fantasy, which is my absolute favorite. Thereon after, I went to the premiere of every single Hunger Games film that came out. The first movie came out in the middle of my freshman year of high school, so I read it right before then. But not only did The Hunger Games broaden my choice of reading, but it also broadened my social life, my personal life. It led me to find Cass J. Tuck's video, The Aftershock, on Tumblr, and that led me to finding BookTube. I had never thought there was a community of people who loved to read the same books as I did until I found them on the internet. And although I was very shy and stuck to myself and just stayed behind a screen and watched people's videos doing book reviews and recommendations and tags and challenges, it made me feel like I wasn't alone. I can genuinely say The Hunger Games might have even led me to make my own BookTube channel, and it led me to go outside my comfort zone, to go to book signings for my favorite authors and meet some of the best friends I've ever had. And it's led me to pursue a career in publishing that I am in graduate school for right now. Honestly, I don't know who I'd be without The Hunger Games. I really don't. Yes, I'd probably still be reading a lot of contemporary, but I don't know if I wouldn't have decided to read other genres sooner or later. It's an unknown thing. What I do know is that I'm so grateful this book came into my life, and it was such a great book for its time. But I also still love reading this series to this day. It really makes me think about how much books can shape people and mold them into these amazing, intelligent, creative people. And for me, it all started with this. I'm really nostalgic right now. Anyways, I love this book. You've probably read it, but if you haven't, I highly recommend it. That is the recommendation that greatly impacted me. And with that being said, I'm going to get into my day 7 progress of how my reading is going on this last day of the reading rush. Woo! So last I left you, I was still reading The Princess Bride by William Goldman. Since then, I did finish it yesterday, and today I did watch the movie. Again, The Princess Bride is one of my favorite movies of all time, so it was really cool comparing and contrasting the book from the movie. I was pleasantly surprised that it was so faithful to the book, and the things that they did leave out weren't really necessary. I can now genuinely say it is one of my all-time favorite adaptations I've ever watched. But overall, I was pleasantly surprised with how this reading and watching experience turned out. I do think I still like the movie more than the book, but that doesn't mean that this isn't amazing. And The Princess Bride completes the challenge of read a book and watch its movie adaptation. Moving on, last night I read 62 pages of The Near Witch by B.E. Schwab. It is a little over 300 pages, and so I have a lot to go. I haven't really read a lot today, but after this, I am definitely gonna keep chugging along and try to finish this book, because if I do, that will complete the challenge of read an author's debut book, and then I will have completed all of the Reading Rush 2019's reading challenges. I really gotta get a move on and start doing that, so I'm gonna go. I will see you sooner rather than later with a new video. Bye!